academic and professional staff will lead, as they will be followed by the graduates. The music for the procession will be provided by members of the Cook Islands drum community. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. May I now ask that you all please be seated. Talofa lava, kia orana, whakalofa lahi atu, malo ni sambuli vinaka, taloha ni, aloha, whakalofa lahi atu, good day and halo ola keta, ia orana, namaste, kia ora tātou, warm Pacific greetings to you all. Welcome to the 11th ceremony to honour and celebrate the fine achievements of our Pasifika graduates held here again at Crossroads Church in our beautiful city of Palmerston North. O te whaatalo whaatu I le paia ma le mamalu wa au fia lene aso malo lava autou o loo ingo o Andrew Jamison o te ngalue I le aonga mawalunga o Massey I le Manawatu. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Andrew Jamison. I'm a teaching consultant in the Centre for Teaching and Learning at Massey here in Palmerston North, and I have the utmost pleasure of being your Master of Ceremony this afternoon. I would especially like to welcome the Reverend Tawake Manu, our guest speaker Dr. Palatasa Javier, Distinguished Professor Paul Spoonley, the Honourable Ian Lees-Galloway, University Council Member Jackie Hoffman, Dean Academic from the Office of the Provost, Damien Lodge, Associate Professor Tracy Riley, Palmerston North Deputy Mayor Tangi Utikere, Director of Student Services Diana Riak, Massey Academic and Professional Staff, the Director for Pasifika Directorate, Associate Professor Malakai Koloa Matangi, staff from the Palmerston North City Council, Pasifika Papaioia Community Trust, staff and students from Longburn Adventist College, St. Peter's College, Awatapu College, Freiburg High School, Palmerston North Boys High School, Palmerston North Girls High School, Amanaki STEM Academy families, our beloved community members, especially families and friends of graduates that have travelled from overseas, such places as Manawatu and Papua New Guinea, and also from outside of Palmerston North, to celebrate here today. And of course, our graduates, our most important people of this event. It is indeed our pleasure to host you in celebrating your awesome achievements today. Before we start, for safety, please note that this is a non-smoking event and non-smoking venue. The toilets can be found outside of the exits, just on either side. For families with children, please ensure their safety at all times. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please make your way out to the exits, and some of our staff will help you assemble out in the car park on this, when you came in, and also out in the car park down towards the gym. If you require any help during the ceremony, please look out for some of our Pasifika staff and students. In all Pasifika celebrations, it is customary to begin with a devotion. The Palmerston North Girls High Gospel Choir will first sing a Samoan hymn, and following that, we will ask Reverend Tavake Manu to bless this wonderful occasion.
Let us pray. Ki tau lotu. Tō mafi koe mau, tamai tai ngata e a whiana. Mau fia, whainga maari e, hoa tā koeni. Mau whawhita ia, o whae a whiana, mau tai maari ai. Whaki mai e, taha e ngā, i huelo e a whiana koe poto. Ina siai ho tō tangata pe mo tō whiwhine. Hoa tā koe ni o toa, mau fia. Mau uno mai ki kau whakataha pe mo kau whai ako. Kai o mai ngā hui whamiri. Whakawhita ia e o whai a whiana, ko tai maari ai e kau ako koe ni. Koe mau lotu lau maari e, whamore a hoa whio. Haere mai, ki tau kau whakataha he maalari, ai poto moi ilo moi mawhai. Ko ke tāpua ki aki, ai tō tangatani. Hifo mai ho lau maari e, ki tau kau whakataha. Ke hifa mai ho lau maari e o moi moi i. He whatongia ku mau whai he hoa tā koeni. Ke o wana mau mamao pia mea te koe. Mau tui whakapapau, koe ilo, moi poto, koe me ai ai a whian. Te whaina sia ke apasia o tua, ai kau whai ako. Kai o maha si kau ako koeni. Ko nau lava mea pia i kona, i he mala ai oi ako. Tāpuak mai, lau maari e, whakamore more, pia toi tāpuak mai. Whatungia ko tō pē te mau whai he hoa tāni, whai ko tō pē ke langi langi i ai a whiana. Kore katoa ngā i tāpakini a klais ko alo, kā ko koe pē ho mau whakamo ui. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Manu, for your spiritual guidance and blessings. We now have our first address by Distinguished Professor Paul Spoonley. Paul is the Pro Vice Chancellor for the College of Humanities and Social Sciences at Massey University. He is the author or editor of 27 books, the most recent being Rebooting the Regions in 2016. He is the program leader of a research program on the impacts of immigration and diversity. He was made the Fellow of the Royal Society of New Zealand in 2011 and was granted the title of Distinguished Professor by Massey University in 2013. He was awarded the Science and Technology Medal by the Royal Society in 2009. He was a Fulbright Senior Scholar at the University of California, Berkeley in 2010. And since 2013, he has been a visiting researcher at the Max Planck Institute of Religious and Ethnic Diversity, Göttingen. The Auckland War Museum made him a fellow in 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, Distinguished Professor Paul Spoonley.
Bulavanaka whakalofe lahe tū. Whakatofa atu ki o rana malo elele, malo ni talofa na lava api nun true. Ina mana na waka na reo o na manga whenua rangatani, tēnā koutou, ta marae o hinei tēnā koe, tēnā koutou, kia ora tata katoa. My job here is to welcome you and to acknowledge the graduates, but before I do, somebody I knew has passed away in the Pasifika community, and I just would like to acknowledge Pua Magasiva, haere kiti atua, haere kiti kāinga, e moi. Today is about recognising you, the graduates, and celebrating with you. Some of you will have been through the ceremonies that we've had at the Regent, some of you might not have, but today we want to acknowledge you and your whānau in terms of the journey you've undertaken and the success that you've achieved. I want to say a few other words because this is my last ceremony. I'm standing down, that was a rather long introduction from AJ there. I am standing down as Pro Vice Chancellor in less than a month, and so this will be the last ceremony that I'm involved with in Palmerston North. And I'll explain why this is very significant for me. In 1974, I convinced the University of Otago to let me go and do my research in Auckland, and I wanted to look at the Pacific migration and the politics surrounding that. And the University of Otago did do that. And so I went and looked at Niueans arriving in Auckland, and there was a moment when one of the leaders of the Niuean community took me aside and very politely and very gently said, "Why are you studying us? We're not the problem. You need to go and study. You need to go and study some others." And so I did, and I looked at the way in which what I call gatekeepers, employers, teachers, real estate agents responded to Niueans in Auckland. So that was my first bit of research, and it's 45 years ago now. So it's where I started my research. The other thing that I was involved in was in 1989 when the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs, as it was then called, mounted a conference in Auckland to change the way in which this country saw Pasifika. And one of the first things that it did was it changed its name. It's a weird title, the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs, isn't it? It really conjures up some interesting images there. And it was changed to the Ministry of Pacific Peoples. And that was to get away from all of that rubbish that was associated with the term Pacific Islanders that had been politicised through the 70s and 80s. But the thing that stuck with me is the Reverend Seal, who gave the opening speech, the late Reverend Seal. And it was a very powerful speech. There was a young New Zealand-born Pasifika who introduced him, and the Reverend did correct him when he got on the stage in terms of pronunciation of his name, which is a little embarrassing for the guy. But then he talked about the way in which the community, and he was talking about Ainga Matayan Church, needed to change. And 1989 is very significant for one reason, and that is that there are more Pasifika born in New Zealand in 1989 than there were migrants and born in the Pacific. And what he did was he challenged the institutions, including Pacific institutions, to change. And he said we need leadership and we need to include the New Zealand-born Pasifika. And the key to that inclusion was education. So we jump forward to 2019, and I just want to leave you with three particular thoughts. The first is that there are over 300,000 Pasifika living in New Zealand. There are 3 to 5 times more Niuean or Cook Islanders or Tokelauans living in this country than living in their home communities. And depending on how you add the numbers up, it might be that there are more Samoans in New Zealand than there are in Samoa as well. That's not going to be true for Tongans and Fijians for a while, and certainly not from Papua New Guinea and 1 or 2 other places. But the Minister and I were just talking before about the recognised seasonal employment scheme. I actually own an orchard in Hawke's Bay, and Minister, I need those RSE workers. But if you'd been in Hawke's Bay a month ago and seen the number of people from Tuvalu or Kiribati or Tonga on the streets in Hawke's Bay, you would realise that our connections with the Pacific and our reliance on the Pacific are actually growing. Now, the thing about the Pasifika community here is that if you look at New Zealanders as a whole, in terms of the numbers under the age of 20, only about a quarter of all New Zealanders are under the age of 20 in 2019, but almost half of all Pasifika are under the age of 20. So their education is critical to our future, and you guys are going to be the leaders and the icebreakers in that, making sure that their success educationally in the future is going to be achieved. But the second thing, and I go back to the Reverend Seal, the Reverend charged us, Pasifika organisations and leaders, but also the local communities, their organisations and leaders, he charged us with trying to reach out and make sure that Pasifika were recognised and they were included. And as I said before, key to that was educational success. Now, as a member of the senior leadership team, we are committed. Massey University is committed to making sure that we reach out, as the Reverend Seal said, to include Pasifika. And I want to acknowledge the members of our Pasifika Directorate here. The Director, Malakai Kulamatangi, is here and their work. And we've just received TC approval for an investment in the Pasifika Learner Success Plan. But we could do more, and we need to do more. And the final thing that I just wanted to leave you with is we talk about New Zealand as though it was somehow separate from or different from the Pacific. But you've heard here the number of Pasifika in New Zealand is very significant, and our connections with the Pacific. And I think in the 21st century we do need to rethink how we think about our engagement with Pasifika out there or over here, because we now should be really considered part of the Pacific. And Treasury have done some very interesting work around what that means in terms of the investment in people and in processes and the ownership and productivity of the Pasifika communities in New Zealand. And it's much larger than you would think. And of course we send back money, and so each year about $50 million goes into the Pacific from New Zealand by way of remittances. So I'm just pleading really for us to consider, to think about how we engage with the Pacific. And I'm sure we will do much more in the future. Now, I'm going to finish, but I want to do a couple of things. I want to acknowledge our guest, particularly the Honourable Ian Lees-Galloway, the Deputy Mayor, Tangi Utikere, who is doing long yards today. We've been through a Māori ceremony which had everything in it, and I don't know whether we're going to equal that, but we did have a marriage proposal on the stage at the Māori ceremony today. No pressure, no, don't do that. Our speaker, Dr. Palasa Havia, the Reverend Tavaki Manu, councillors, colleagues, particularly the Pacific Director. It's fantastic to have local schools here. That is amazing. But this day is about recognising your success. I want to pick out one person, Tali. Tali is one of my staff members, and Tali, being from Niue, having that connection, I want to acknowledge your success and your contribution, both as a student and as a staff member. But I also want to acknowledge all of you. I picked out Tali because I wanted to acknowledge him in particular, but I want to acknowledge all of you. And can I leave you with a challenge? And that is that you've come far. Today is the beginning, not the end of something. And what we want to do is look at you as part of the Massey family in terms of what you will contribute to our society and Pasifika communities, here or elsewhere. And we will look with interest to you as we see you as the leaders of the future. Kia ora tata katoa.
Thank you. Sure. Thank you, Professor Spoonley, for your inspirational words, and we acknowledge your continuous support and passion in supporting the success of Pasifika students and working with the Pasifika community. I endorse the challenge. It starts now. I now have great pleasure in inviting the Honourable Minister Ian Lees-Galloway for some brief words and acknowledgements for our graduates. Ian has been the Member of Parliament for Palmerston North since 2008, and in 2017 was appointed Minister for Workplace Relations and Safety, Minister of Immigration and Minister for ACC. He is a graduate of Massey University, and during his time I found a picture of him in the student boardroom as the President of the Students' Association. So welcome, Honourable Ian Lees-Galloway. It's a nice photo.
I bet it's not. Tēnā tātou katoa, talofa lava, maloa lele, kia orana, nisan bulavanaka, taloha ni, malo ni, whakalofa lahi atu, and warm Pacific greetings to you all. It was a real pleasure during the week to be asked to speak during today's ceremony, an invitation that had a clear instruction to be very brief as well. So I'll do my best to keep it brief. I'm here to offer congratulations to you, the graduates. It is very exciting to see the diversity of fields that you have graduated in, from health to science to business, social sciences, journalism even. It is very exciting to see you entering into that range of fields. And I know that employers will be excited to have the opportunity to take you on because, as Paul mentioned, we are a society, a community that is becoming much more diverse. And as we face the challenges of the 21st century, we need much more diverse thinking to help us find the answers to the questions that are before us. And that means that in our workplaces, in our boardrooms, on our university councils, in our local city and district councils, and in our government, we need a much greater variety of people contributing to the thinking and the decision-making that is needed in the 21st century. And that means that we need people like you who bring your culture, your background, your experience and your priorities to all of those places to help us make better decisions about the needs of our nation and, of course, about our region. One of the issues, which of course is most pressing to us all in the Pacific, is climate change, something which is created by the world, but which has a direct and pressing impact on our part of the world, particularly our neighbours in the Pacific. So congratulations on the work that you have done so far. Nobody does it easy getting to a graduation, whether it be for a degree or any other qualification. It takes long hours, it takes a lot of perseverance, it takes prioritising that work over all the other things that are going on in our lives. So it is a day to celebrate, and it is a day to think about what you have to offer to our community and to our society in the future, because what you bring is just so important if we are to make things better for everybody in our community. So congratulations, enjoy the celebration, and I really look forward to seeing what you all do. Kia ora tātou.
Thank you, Minister. Our next address will be delivered to us by our guest speaker, Dr. Palatasa Javier. Dr. Javier is Chair of the Health Research Council Pacific Committee, having been a member since 2013. He was a member of the Ministry for Pacific Peoples Advisory Council for 13 years, serving the last 3 as chair. He is currently a senior research scientist at Fonterra Research and Development Centre. He has led research projects that resulted in a new manufacturing process for separating the functional properties of whey protein from its nutritional value, allowing the addition of the protein at higher levels in many nutritional products. His research has led to a number of patents. He established the Pacific category in the annual Manawatu Science Fair in 2015 to attract Pacific children to the sciences and technology. He has been an elder at Church on Vogel Street in Palmerston North since 2005 and has been an advisor for Cornerstone Christian School and Massey Pacific Advisory Committee. He trained youth leaders in the 1980s and has more recently set up programs through his church to help children with literacy and numeracy. He has been involved with the International Student Ministry for 18 years and been a member of the Board of Trustees since 2006. Dr. Javier has been engaged with short-term mission service to Samoa, Manawatu, Tonga, Australia, and Papua New Guinea. In 2018, he was awarded the member of the New Zealand Order of Merit for services to the Pacific community and the dairy industry. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Javier.
Whadap kia whia e o toa. Whadap kia hawaik, ka mahama tā pūre. Whadap heni ki kau whaiwhekau ka mai halotu. Whadap mawai heni ki kau whakawhi whakalang mo kau whaiaka University, Minister, he hoki he Deputy Mayor, ka mai kau whakawhi kotoa be, pia mo whakatap mawai. Ki he tau kau graduate e ahoni. Tuku mua ke ome mua ke whainga maari e ko ni ke whaha ki Popou. It is a wonderful honor to be given the opportunity to share this opportunity with our graduates and to enjoy the celebration in a Pacific way. Unlike the minister, I was not given any instruction on time. So if I am on Tongan time, I apologize. I was not given any instruction to restrict. It is an exciting time. For us to come together and celebrate with the graduates and their families and their friends. And it's the end of an important milestones in their journey. And it's a time to shout, to party, to sing and to dance. And we just want to join your loved ones and your families in congratulating you in your achievement today. The sweetness of success is always about the memories of the challenges you had to go through to get to this point. And some of you may be gifted that the academic achievement comes easily, but for many of the Pacific Islanders, I know I'm one of them, success always a hard challenge to come. And to get to this point, we want to congratulate you. And I have been invited to speak in a number of occasions like this, not because of success, but more because of my failures. When I got the invitation to speak, I replied in an email and said yes, but immediately I asked the question, why on earth do we have a Pasifika graduation? Is it a diluted version of the actual thing, or why do we need to do this? And that question became a topic for my talk. Why do we need one? And I will talk only for 2 points. The first one is why we need a Pasifika graduation, and number 2, it's just a congratulating remarks to our graduates. So why do we need a Pasifika celebration like this? There are a number of reasons, but I will touch on only 2. The first one, we need time and space to celebrate in the Pasifika way. Many of you have been to the normal graduations, and you would have been lucky if you had 2 tickets for your families to go in. But you know very well that your success does not belong to you alone. It belongs to our uncles and aunties and cousins in your village and your church. And why we have one like this? Because it's free. We invite the whole village, come over, let's have a party. And that is very Pacific. Because when we do celebrate in a Pacific way, we dance, we sing, we cry, and we have the freedom to honor our God and quote the Bible without the fear of being persecuted or being sacked from your job. Because this is Pacific. And secondly, as I mentioned earlier on, it is important because we have the space to honor our God. There is no celebration in a Pacific way without honoring our God. And I have seen this. This is the 6th time I speak on Pasifika graduation ceremony. And every time I'm so fascinated with the Pasifika giving praise to God. And that is really true because we pray and ask God to open the door for us to go to university, and when we suffer, we call upon his name, we ask for direction, we ask for help. And it's so true and it's so right that when we succeed, we also call on God's name and give him the honor. Because our Pasifika celebration cannot be complete without honoring our God. See, in a world where God is deemed unnecessary, where the reading of the Bible is banned from schools and parliament, where the name of Jesus Christ is used only as a curse, we as Pacific people come together to honor God. We ask God to help us, so we ask God that he be glorified in our little celebration. We can only thank Massey University that it sees fit for us to be given the space to do it in a Pacific way. This is my first point. My second point, so the first point of having one like this is to honor God in a Pacific way. And the second point is that we need a forum like this to inspire one another. And before I speak to that, I'd like to read you a story of a different kind of graduation, high school prize giving. And it goes like this. I sat nervously at the corner of a large hall, listening to a loudmouth teacher calling our class ranking in front of the school's 1,800 students. It was the end of the year prize-giving ceremony. Our Form 4E class was the last of that level, and the top students were in Form 4A and B. This level was particularly important because we set our national higher living certificate. The ranking began from the poor fella at the bottom of the class, and it went something like this. 42nd, Sione Taulango, Te Whisi, 22.2%. That is the position in the class is 42nd, and the name of the student, the village he comes from, and the average percentage achieved. In the stillness of the crowd, I listened carefully to find out where I was in my class. The number went down past the 10th, and then the 5th, and eventually I heard 2nd, Palatasa Havea, Mangia, 42.8%. Then the top student was finally named. The temperature in the hall was around 29 degrees, but at my corner it felt like negative 2 degrees. I was numbed and chilled by the embarrassment of the announcement of my failure in front of the whole school, especially in front of Diana, my high school crush. She didn't know. As you can imagine, the whole school, I was so ashamed of myself. The whole school knew I failed badly. How could I face my village, I thought? How would my parents respond? I took the long 5-mile walk home in the hot early December afternoon with my head down, seeing only the dust flying out from underneath my callous bare feet thumping on the rocky road. Upon arriving at my village, I was not surprised to find out that people had already heard the news. Any news in my village will spread far and wide because everyone was a good gossiper. As I walked past the houses, people shouted out their congratulations on my good work. They called me Tamasi Poto, smart boy. My uncle called out, well done, Tasa, excellent work. When I got home, I found my parents had already sacrificed the only breeding rooster that we had in the backyard and cooked for dinner to celebrate my bogus success. The poor people of my village celebrated my being second in the class, but they failed to realize that at 42.8%, I failed miserably. They only compared me to the rest of my class, who all failed, but they did not know that compared to the whole Form 4 level, I was nowhere to be found, and when compared to the rest of the country, we did not have anything to celebrate. They only discovered that fact 2 years later, when I was still sitting in the same class, attempting the third time to pass the same exams. That is my story. The reason I tell you that story is not necessarily to demonstrate that I am the dumbest student among us. That is given. But the reason I tell you that story is because we need to have the right yardstick to measure our performance. Being here as Pacific people, we are not here to compare ourselves to ourselves, to the Samoans, look at the Tongans and all this. Because if you do that, then you feel good. And that is not the right yardstick to measure our performance. Our performance needs to be measured by something beyond ourselves. See, I have been involved over the years in committees and boards and reference groups for Pacific. And one thing I noticed, we go there to compete against each other. The Samoan thinks the Tongans are nuts. The Tongans thinks the Samoan are something else. And we always complain without too many Cook Islanders in the committee. We are here to inspire each other to do more, like the professor has said. To do that, we need to find the right yardstick, instead of comparing yourself to me or the person sitting next to you, you need to compare yourself to the Chinese student at Massey. What happens when you compare yourself to the top students at MIT or Caltech in the US? I think Massey University shouldn't measure its performance against AUT, Victoria University, or even Auckland University, but against Harvard University or Oxford University. Having a higher target doesn't mean to belittle us and our efforts, but it's to stretch our imaginations and ambitions that we dare to fulfill at all costs. A dream that is more than ourselves, a target that goes further than being Pacific, and goals that stretch us to be more than just Massey University. Ladies and gentlemen, that is very inspirational. See, what is most recognized is not what we enjoy within the Pacific people communities. What is most recognized is what is known outside of ourselves. What is highly recognized about New Zealand is not what we enjoy within New Zealand, but what is known by the countries outside of New Zealand. I remember speaking to, some time ago, I spoke to the research staff of INRA in the city of Rennes, east of France. INRA is the largest research organization in the country. And at any one time, they have something like more than 500 PhDs and many, many masters, 2,500 interns. It's a huge organization, it's much bigger than Massey. And they have got different sites. And when I stood up to speak, I was introduced as coming from Tonga. And no one in the crowd knew where Tonga was. And I was prepared for that. When I started with photos of the rugby game where Tonga beat France in the Rugby World Cup in Wellington, 2011. The point is, when we dialogue internationally, we need to hang on to what is known internationally. So our thinking as graduates, we need to think beyond being Pacific. As New Zealanders, we need to think beyond New Zealanders. My last point is a congratulating remarks to our graduates. When I sat down the other day to write the speech, I think of our graduates. Here today belongs to you. And when I thought of the experience Pacific Islanders go through at the university, it reminded me of the primitive fishing experience that we brought with us from the islands. We learned to dive deep with hardly any equipment. If you manage to get yourself a mask, diving mask, either you borrowed it from uncle or you steal it from your cousins, then you can make yourself a harpoon. We got hold of the tubes from the vehicle tires. Some of them are very elastic and they can make very powerful harpoon. So that's all you got, a mask and a harpoon. No fins, no chute, no weights, no case. And we've got 2.5 minutes to dive deep, 30 meters, find a fish, kill it, bring it to the surface in 2.5 minutes. The 2.5 minutes is that's how long I could hold my breath. My cousins could do 5 minutes, so I was a pretty useless diver. So you dive, you go down, you see a nice hapuka hiding beneath a large rock, then you shoot it. And in split seconds, you realize the hapuka is bigger than you. You pull it up, it pulls you down. You pull it up, it pulls you down. And in split seconds, you want to let go because your 2.5 minutes is up. And then you thought of the faces of your hungry family. Then you decide to give it your final kicks. Then you look up to the top, You see the horizon and you know you're not very far. Then you give it your final kicks and you swallow 3 or 4 mouthfuls of seawater, and all of a sudden you hit the surface. When you got to the surface, you try to cough out the seawater from your lungs, but you hear the hooray and shouts from your family. Then you join in the ceremony. When you join the celebration, you forget all the hardship you had gone through to get the fish to the top. And that is the experience from my youth. But now I'm old, I realize you take the same experience through life. That's what you take with you. Let me share a couple of thoughts from that experience. The first one, the well-being of those around us relies on someone making the sacrifice. I only know too well the sacrifice the students have got to go through. Sometimes it's very hard. Sometimes we go through things that are very embarrassing. I remember sitting at the university as a first-year student, and the lecturer was speaking English at Massey. And I started to write notes. As I wrote the first one, he was already finished that. He was already on the 5th. I tried to write that sentence. He was already on the 15th. And I gave up. The second lecture was the same. And then I came and said to him in the 3rd, "Can I photocopy your notes?" He said, "What? Can I photocopy your notes?" "But it's my note." "I know, that's why I'm asking you." "But you should write your notes." "Yeah, I know. But why didn't you write your notes?" "It's a bit of a problem. You speak too fast." "Oh, if you can't speak English, you shouldn't be here." And I said, "I know, but I don't think the answer is to go back. I'm here. And I think the answer is going forward. At all costs, I determined to go forward, and if only I can photocopy your note, it would be really helpful." You see, this professor never had that experience before, but we had to find a way of going forward. The next lecture, he brought his note and another copy for me, because I was the dumb student in the class. And every lecture he gave me a note. So I moved from that professor to the next one and did exactly the same. That's how I survived as a dumb student. See, graduates, you get to this point because you made the sacrifice. Your parents and your family made a lot of sacrifice to get you to this point. And as you go out, your parents and family deserve better. They deserve the recognition they have made, the sacrifices they have made to allow you to get to the university. And remember, as you go out to the community, you need to make the sacrifice for the well-being of the people around you. The second point, all good things are hidden in the deep. See, you didn't have to dive for harpooner in the deep. There are fish they throw around, the small ones throw around in the shallow. You can settle for that one. But all good things are hidden in the deep. And you have got to make the decision to dive that deep because the good stuff for your family is hidden in there. And I bet you many of you have got to make that choice, to make the sacrifice. And when people go to the party, you stayed behind to read the books. I'm sure you stay behind and read the books, eh? Because almost everything we enjoy today is result of somebody diving deep. I remember flying back from Auckland the other day, and I was sitting in the plane and enjoyed the flight. What a beautiful, magnificent thing, this whole house built, lifted up and got here. And I thought, I wonder if anybody appreciate the Wright brothers, the months and months and years they tried to get the first plane flight. See, we enjoy that today, but they dive deep. You see, you got here today because someone in your family dive deep in order to get you here. I enjoy my life today. I enjoy the success because my parents had to dive deep to get me in here. And my message to you, graduates, when you go out there, I hope you dive deep for the well-being of the people who depend on you. And lastly, it is the memory of our loved ones that drive us to endure. You see, the diver that I described before, it sounded that you only dive once and you catch a fish. But if you are an experienced diver, you dive many times before you catch anything. And you see, as the diver, I explained before, we get to the university and all of a sudden we discover that this is a big task. The university education is probably feel bigger than us. But then the thoughts of your mother, the thoughts of your father, and your brother and your sister that push you to dive deep. And that is the success that we are here to celebrate today. Lastly, Flores Scientia, the motto of Massey University. That is, let knowledge flourish. As you go out as Massey graduates, please make sure that the knowledge that is in you flourish. And if I were to give you two advice about that, to let knowledge flourish, you need to slow down. We live in a world that everything is so fast. And we are going with the flow. We get angry when our food is late. We can't wait to get married, to enjoy the pleasure of sex. We complain when the bus is late by 3 minutes. And what a world. But you see, life is made of small things, and if you can't manage the small things, you'll miss the emotion and the small things that are important in life. In his book, Ordinary Man, Extraordinary Hero, Yaka Texter says that if you are not a hero at home, you are not a hero at all. See, one thing that you will find when you go out, life is very, very fast. And I advise you, slow down and appreciate life. Take time off to pray and worship. That keeps you sane in a turbulent world where we are living. Graduates, all the best in that. And please slow down. Lastly, you will be measured by the positive impact you make on the lives of people. Whether you like it or not, your performance is going to be measured. It's going to be measured by so many people. Every Dick and Harry out there who knows you will measure you. And if you are not careful, you're going to run around trying to please them, to please everyone in your Twitter or Facebook or whatever. But you see, how do you measure the flourishing of your knowledge? And our success to you, that your knowledge will always be measured by the impact you make on the lives of people around you. If you make positive impacts on their lives, then your knowledge is flourished. See, Neil Armstrong, when he returned from walking on the moon, he was invited to speak in one of the universities in the States. And it was a huge achievement at the time for people to hear this hero who went up so high and walked on the moon, the first man who walked on the moon. And when he stood up to speak, he said, lecturers and students, the greatest event in history was not that man walked on the moon. The greatest event in history was when God himself walked on earth through Jesus Christ. You see, when everybody is trying to go high, Neil Armstrong reminded us that the greatest event is someone who went down so low, because your salvation and mine was a result of someone who came from heaven to save you and me. And that is how you measure, how you bend down to help the people around you. Let me read you what Paul says. Do not merely look out for the interests for your own personal interest, but also to the interests of others. Have this attitude in yourself, which was also in Christ Jesus, who, although he existed in the form of God, he did not regard equality with God a thing to grasp onto. He emptied himself, taking the form of a servant, being made likeness of men, and found humble to the death and the death on the cross. Concluding my remarks, we advocate so that we can set our visions on higher sides to raise our performance to higher standard and to build personalities beyond our normal limitations. Claude Bicel said that you can obtain excellence if you care more than others think is wise, risk more than others think is safe, dream more than others think is practical, and expect more than others think is possible. In his book, Jesus Did It Anyway, Dr. Ken Keith presented what he referred to as the paradoxical commandments. People are illegal, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish or ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Be honest, and honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. The biggest men and women with the biggest ideas will be shot down by the smallest men and women with smallest minds. Think big anyway. People favor underdogs but follow only the top dogs. Fight for a few underdogs anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need help but may attack you if you do help them. Help people anyway. Give the world the best of you, and that may not be enough. Keep giving anyway. Remember that at the end, it is between you and God. It was never between you and other people. All the best in your journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Javier, for accepting our humble invitation to speak at our celebration and your kind words of encouragement to our graduates. We're proud of your excellent achievements as a research scientist, Pasifika leader, and as a Massey graduate as well. We wish you well in your future endeavours. We now have the Palmerston North Girls High Gospel Choir perform an item for you. It is a song called Lauhani. Ladies and gentlemen, what about another round of applause for the Palmerston North Cultural Group? I just have to correct what I said before. That was a siva, and I think that was sung by Lole, not the girls. We now come to the part where we award the certificates to our graduates. And I will ask distinguished Professor Paul Spoonley, who will be assisted by Associate Professor Tracy Riley, who is the Dean Research in the Office of the Provost, to come forward. Upon reading the name of each graduate, families and friends are invited to please come up to the front and present your lei and gifts to the graduates, while Dr. Natasha Tassel-Matamua, who is a senior lecturer and also Deputy Head of School of Psychology, and Dr. Tracy Mafi-Leo, senior lecturer and Associate Dean Pacific from the College of Health, will read out the graduates' names, qualifications, and journeys. Graduates, when your name is called, please make your way up to the front. May I ask that you remain standing, where you will receive your leis until the reading of your profile is completed. Once your profile is read out, please proceed to the stage to receive your certificate and a gift. Then pause to have your photo taken before returning to your seat. I will now call upon the blurbs to be read out by Dr. Tracy Mafi-Leo and Dr. Natasha Tassel-Matamua.
Kia ora. The first graduate is from the College of Health, and I'd like to ask Whae Whaliupolu Samuelu to come forward, please. Graduating with a Master of Applied Social Work, Second Class Honours, Division 1. Whae Whaliupolu wants to first give thanks to our Heavenly Father for giving her the strength to graduate with her second Master's qualification. She was born in Samoa and migrated with her parents and older sister to Aotearoa. With the dreams of her father for a better education in the land of the long white cloud, she is grateful and feels humble of the sacrifices her parents made so long ago. She is married to husband Junior, and they are a blended family with 5 children who have been her living lifeline during this education journey. She is currently working in the social work and education departments at Te Wānanga or Aotearoa, and will apply what she has gained here at Massey University in her teaching practice. Her love and thanks to her family and friends who are here and those unable to be here, as well as staff from the School of Social Work. With particular thanks to Dr. Tracy Mafi-Leo for always allowing her to be Pacific in her writing, talking, research and insight. Malo au pito.
Having graduated this week with a Bachelor of Arts with a major in education, Amelea Lea May Waka, please come forward. Amelea hails from beautiful Ha'apai in Tonga. First of all, she would like to thank our Heavenly Father for his constant guidance and blessings on us all. This week has been a joyful week, not only for Amelea and her fellow graduates, but also for family and friends. The journey has taught her the true meaning of the quote, "It takes a village to raise a child." Amelea would like to express gratitude to her village, who have been there for her from the beginning. To her family, friends, Sunny, Mapsa, the Tongan Association family, lecturers, and each and every one who has helped along the way. Thank you for the constant love, prayers, motivation, and for topping up her bank account whenever she asked, "Can I have some of your friends, please?" She counts her blessings every day for you all, and she hopes that she has made you proud today. To everyone else who is still chipping away with their studies, study diligently, she says, pray fervently, and live righteously. Malo au pito.
She's safely back to her seat now, which is good. Right, graduating with a Bachelor of Arts with a major in Social Policy. Please step forward, Silo Temoana. Silo Temoana hails from New Tau and Nukufetau Islands in Tuvalu. She always believed education is a game changer, and so did her parents, Selepa and Temoana. Today is a testament to the unconditional love of our Heavenly Father. Silo also acknowledges many who have contributed to her journey, albeit long and challenging. She says that at times I had inclinations to throw in the towel, but it was the beautiful faces of my parents that encouraged me to persevere to complete this journey. Halfway through my journey, they both left. It was their untimely departure that pushed me to complete this. And she says, Mum and Dad, this is for you too. Thank you for giving me this moment. Her journey started nearly a decade ago and has seen her 3 sons growing up in the midst of late nights and contact courses. She says to them, thank you for putting up with my sporadic absences while I went to contact courses and for staying strong when things got tough. I hope my journey has taught you about perseverance and never giving up once you set goals, as well as the sacrifices we all made throughout this journey. I love you all. To her rock of a husband, her ATM machine, her number 1 fan and best friend, Kaitu. You are 1 in a million. She says, I am forever grateful and indebted to you. Thank you for having faith in me that one day I would cross the Massey University stage and for your patience and love. She would also like to thank her brother Telepa and sister Belinda. That must be him there. Auntie Selena and Mum Vinassi, the Fellowship in Christ Study Group, the church family of St. Paul's Presbyterian Church in Oamaru, the Oamaru Pasifika community, the Tuvalu community in Oamaru, cousin Tausala, Ivor, Tui and Melanie, and finally she would like to give thanks to Massey University.
We would like to invite Alefosio Irwin C. to come forward, please, who has graduated with a Bachelor of Arts with a major in psychology. Seal proudly claims Samoa and New Zealand heritage. He was a valuable part of the Pasifika at Massey student community when he was studying at Massey, as well as a valuable member of the School of Psychology. He is currently working with autistic children here in Palmerston North. Seal would like to thank his mother, Tina, and father, Ace, for all their love and support while he's been on his university journey. And to current Massey students, Seal wishes you all good luck and says study hard because it will be all worth it for you in the end when you graduate too.
Graduating with a Bachelor of Arts with a major in education, Gami Veikoso, please come forward. Gami stands here with her heart full of joy and she feels so blessed. She praises God and lifts his name up high. The degree was a hard-fought battle and one that she did not fight on her own. It is a result of her parents' hard work and determination to create a better life for her and her siblings. It is a result of the love, faith, work ethic, and never give up attitude that her parents instilled in her. And she says, "I love you, Mum and Dad, you are my world. To my siblings, I love you guys so much and thank you for always having my back. To all her amazing friends, she says, thank you for laughing with me, crying with me, and giving me love and encouragement and lots of chips in times of need. She gives a shout out to Mapsa and Matsa, saying thank you for putting your trust in her to be a leader. Finally, to Sunny, she takes her hat off to you for all the hard work you put into Pasifika students. Thank you for believing in her and helping her to get where she is today. Her advice to current students is, never give up, you get knocked down, you get straight back up and keep fighting. Malo au pito tua ofa atu.
Alistair Batali Lavini, please come and take your place on the stage. Alistair has graduated this week with a postgraduate diploma in international security. Alistair, also known as Dali, hails from the village of Alofi, Niue Island. He would like to acknowledge the Lord and the many blessings he has bestowed upon him and his family. To his dearest wife, Amy. Amy, are you here today? Would you like to stand? Where's Amy? There's Amy. This journey would have been impossible without your ongoing love and support. Thanks heaps for pushing him to pursue postgraduate learning and helping to discover his unseen potential since day one. He says, from the bottom of my heart, I love you heaps. He also acknowledges his children, Nukai, Jaslyn, and Elias and his family. Also a big whakauelahi to Sunny for his advice to do postgraduate studies and the need to pursue higher learning. Venaulan Ipu would like to invite you to come forward and take the stage. Let's give her a round of applause as she's coming up. This week, Venaulan has graduated with a Bachelor of Sciences in Microbiology and Chemistry. Venaulan Ipu comes from Papua New Guinea, and she's an ex-Longburn Adventist College student. She would like to firstly thank God for his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding upon her life. All glory goes to God. Secondly, she acknowledges her supportive parents and Uncle Jesse Wangua and his family for having trust and confidence in her. Finally, but not the least, her utmost gratitude to all her family members for their support and love. Venaulan is so grateful for her parents, baby brother, and Bubu Nisi, who have travelled all the way from Papua New Guinea to be part of the celebrations. And this will surprise you, folks. Wow, and her 25th birthday is on her graduation. She feels so blessed. Happy birthday to you, Venaulan, and congratulations on your graduation as well.
Graduating with a Bachelor of Science with a Biological Science major and Animal Science minor, please come to the stage, Salesi Tutoi. Salesi comes from the beautiful village of Halabave in Tonga. He is married to his beautiful wife, Manutala Aho Tutoi, and they have one child, Filemone Tutoi. Unfortunately, both are not able to make it to his graduation due to other commitments. Salesi would like to acknowledge the Free Wesleyan Church minister, the Reverend Tevita Langi and his wife, the head steward, Paia Tuimana in Taive, all the families in the congregation and the Tongan communities in Pāmi. He would also like to thank Soane and lovely Vaipulu, Make and Manu Tuipulotu, Lano and Maabai, Taulani, and last but not least, his loving wife, Manu Talaaho and son Filimone. Malo au pito. Graduating with a postgraduate diploma in science and technology with merit, Bonnie Wedder. Please come to the stage. Bonnie hails from the mountainous Simbu province of Papua New Guinea. Graduating in 2006 with a Bachelor of Science in Tropical Agriculture in PNG, he continued study in plant biotechnology and genetic engineering in Thailand. In 2009, he worked as a researcher and plant breeder with the National Agriculture Institute of PNG. Over the last 7 years, he has undertaken a lead role in breeding food crops, especially sweet potato, also known here as kumara, to improve yield, nutritional qualities, and resilience to climate change. He was the first researcher in PNG to design and breed new genetically improved sweet potatoes, and the first 2 cultivars from his work were officially released last year for cultivation by PNG farming communities. He would like to thank God, who is the source of his strength, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. His family's back in PNG, many who are not able to be here in person, but he dedicates this qualification to them. His employer, the PNG National Agriculture Research Institute, New Zealand MFAT, International Student Support Office at Massey, his supervisors, lecturers and support staff, his PNG and Pasifika fellows, and of course, Sunny, for your continuous guidance.
We welcome to the stage Karo Henao. Karo has graduated this week with a Master of Environmental Management. Karo hails from Babaka Village, Regal District, Central Province, Papua New Guinea. She currently works as a project coordinator at the Centre of Renewable Energy at the University of Papua New Guinea. To God be all the glory, honour and praise. She would like to thank her husband and 3 children for their sacrifice and patience with Mummy throughout this journey. A huge thank you to my peers, Palmi PNG Community Club, Mr. Sunny Leovaia, and supervisors, Dr. Karen Heighton, Dr. Nick Ruskridge, and Professor John Holland for their special encouragement along the way. She also would like to thank Jamie Hooper and the ISSO team for their steady rudder support during the course of her studies.
Graduating with a Master of Science, Second Class Honours in Health Psychology, please come to the stage, Vaisinia Pulu. Vaisinia was born in Fiji and raised in Tonga. Her family migrated to New Zealand from Tonga purposely for a better education opportunity. Her dad is from Tonga and her mum is from Fiji. Nia would like to thank the Levar organisation for the scholarship and taking that financial burden away while she completed her Masters of Science. She would also like to thank her supervisors, Dr. Siotu Alefaio and Dr. Sunia Fuliaki, for their endless support and academic guidance. She would like to thank the Pasifika staff at Albany campus for their support, especially giving information regarding Pasifika scholarships that were available, and also for giving your time just to Talanoa. Her advice for current students is that your faith and passion will pull you through despite what challenges you may encounter. When you feel like giving up, close your eyes and say a prayer and question yourself why you are doing this. God and family was my compass, she says. Never be afraid to dream big.
Please come forward, Romela Virenda Boe. Romela has graduated this week with a Bachelor of Applied Economics. Romela is from Manawatu and comes from a big family. She is the 7th in her family to come to Massey University. That deserves a clap, distinguished professor. And her cousin brother is currently doing his master's degree, so he'll have his turn soon. She's currently working at the Department of Treasury and Finance as an expenditure analyst for the productive sector. She acknowledges her loving parents and family who have stood with her since day one and says, "Thank you, Mum and Dad, for your prayers, sacrifice, endless support, and for believing in me. There were many moments I was at my lowest. Your prayers, encouragement, and wise advice brought me up again. I can't thank you both enough and repay all that you have invested in my life." Secondly, she would like to thank the New Zealand government for the scholarship to study here at Massey and MFAT for an internship at Nelson City Council. Thank you, Sylvia, and your team for assisting Romela in so many ways. A special mention to Sunny at the Whale for always being there when she needed help. Thank you to the Pasifika Club and friends for all your support and contribution to her journey. Thank you to her Manawatu family here in Palmerston North. She says, for making me feel at home away from home. She also wishes to thank Massey Accommodation for the opportunity to be an RA for 2 years. Shout out to her dear RA friends, Koro, Helen, Tina, and Manasa. Above all, praises and glory returns to God the Almighty. Because of his strength, faithfulness, and grace, she is celebrating this great achievement with her family. Her advice to current Pasifika students, hands up if you're a current Pasifika student, this is for you, is that anything is possible when you believe in yourself and work hard. She wishes them all the best in their studies and to make sure those assignments are submitted. I'll just repeat that. And to make sure those assignments are submitted before you go out. Should I say it again? No, you got it. Before you go out and enjoy yourself.
Graduating with a Bachelor of Aviation Management, please come forward, Jackie Trief. Jackie is from Narango village in Santo and Atchin Island of Manawatu. She has three brothers and both her parents have passed. But she has been richly blessed by cousins, nieces and friends who have turned out to be as close as sisters could be. Before coming to Massey, she worked as an air traffic controller for 14 years with Airports Vanuatu Limited. After leaving Massey in June 2018, she spent time as a full-time mother for her 8-year-old son. In March 2019, she was appointed as the Director of Civil Aviation in Vanuatu. Jackie dedicates her qualification to her late mother. On the day the scholarships were announced, her health quickly deteriorated and she passed away before Jackie embarked on this journey. She acknowledges her son and buddy, Lockie, who is here today. Where's Lockie? Lockie. Good work, Lockie. Jackie says he has had to bear a lot hanging out with a stressful mother, juggling her own studies, housework, and the demands of a normal 6 to 7-year-old boy in a foreign land. So well done, Lockie. Part of her family who are here today and those at home have supported and stood by her. She acknowledges the Palmerston North Seventh-day Adventist Church, especially the Just Life Cell Group, Brian and Elizabeth Ponta, MUPSA for the support during our stay here, her and Lockie's stay here, and the New Zealand government. Above all, she takes this opportunity to give all the praise, glory and honour to our faithful and loving God. And she says to current students, study hard, play hard, and above all, pray hard.
We would now like to invite forward to the stage Leonie Aui. Leonie has graduated with a Bachelor of Business with a major in entrepreneurship and small business. Leonie is thankful to God Almighty for blessing her with such an amazing support system which helped her through this tough journey. She is thankful to her mother for her tireless prayers and for taking her daughter while she studied. Her father for his encouragement and support always. Her husband for being her backbone. Her daughter Maggie for being her motivation. Her siblings, particularly brother Glenn, for travelling here to be with her on this special day. Glenn, where are you? Hands up. Here somewhere. And her beautiful sister-in-law Karen for being one of her role models. Leonie also acknowledges her best friend here in Palmerston North, Milka, her best friends, Milka, Mapu, Rachel and Gareth, for just being there when she was going through her darkest time last year. She says, I love you all and could not have done it without you. Leonie dedicates this degree to her daughter Maggie and says, I wanted you to know that you really can do anything that you put your mind to. To God be the glory.
graduating with a Bachelor of Business with a major in Entrepreneurship and Innovation. Please come to the stage, Mapu Whaleolupe Ailoilo. First and foremost, Mapu would like to acknowledge and thank God for making her and her ancestors' dreams come true. She says she's planted a seed, her family helped water it, and God himself grew it. And this degree is the tree. Therefore, the credit belongs to her family and especially to God. Secondly, she would like to thank her parents for showing her tough love and keeping her humbled. She says, I know it wasn't easy having to deal with my 3 a.m. phone calls nearly every day because my not-so-functional brain wasn't storing anything. But you both stood strong and became armour, and for that I love you both from the bottom of my heart. Your hard work and your hard-earned money I can never repay, but hopefully this degree was able to make up for it. She also wants to thank her late grandma, and she hopes that she has made her proud. Thanks to her siblings for driving her crazy at home and for giving her the motivation to stay in the library longer than she should have. She would also like to thank her uncles, aunties, and church family, and of course, thank you to Sonny for his endless support. And last but not least, she would like to thank Leonie, who was our previous graduate. She just wanted you to know that you are truly amazing, inspiring, and a bit of a badass. She thanks you for not only an academic mentor, but also a personal and spiritual mentor. And she says, Maggie is lucky to have you as a mother. Thank you for holding her hand for the past 3.5 years. You showed her the true meaning of friendship. And she says, I love you.
Please come forward, the lovely May Kwong. May has graduated with a Bachelor of Business this week with a major in Business Information Systems. May gives glory to the giver of life and wisdom, for without God she would not have achieved every goal pursued. To her parents, Willie and Siriana, she thanks you for instilling in her the best advice to live a successful life. Place God at the centre of it all. Thank you for always supporting her through the trials of being a Pasifika woman in a first world nation. Thank you especially for all the home-cooked meals and not charging rent. Thank you for your hard work and humility. You both are truly the greatest inspirations of my life story. To Roslyn, George, and Alita, thank you for being legendary siblings. Words are not enough to describe the attributes and characteristics that define you. Thank you for the laughs, love, and for sponsoring all my fast food runs. Special thanks to her family from Fiji and to those back home, to her extended family in Palmerston North, the Kaiwais, Mane o Uihas, Rambos, the Gukenbaus, Vinaka Vakalevu. She also acknowledges Mr. Roy and Mrs. Maria Henry at the LAC House family for their never-ending support and drive to strive for the best. Milka and Sulu, her Melanesian pillars of academic greatness, thank you for always pushing her to put herself first and teaching her that it's okay not to always have everything together. Finally, she acknowledges 2 important communities, the Seventh-day Adventist Church and their youth programs for nurturing her spiritual learning, health and well-being, and the Fijian community for providing an enriching environment to explore and engage with her culture. To the graduates, congratulations. All the late nights and the weight gains, or loss for the lucky ones, was all worth it in the end. Here's to a bright future. Vinaka, Vinaka Vakalevu.
just safety first. We'll wait till she's down. Graduating with a graduate diploma in journalism studies, please come to the stage, Jerome Pula. Jerome was born in New Zealand. His father, Lanu, is from the villages Lepea and Whaleata in Samoa, and mum, Fiona, is Māori from the iwi Ngāti Kahungunu, Te Atiawa and Tūwharetoa. Jerome is currently trying to build up his brand, Jerome Smith Pula. Jerome would like to thank his family, his work family, and his friends and loved ones who were here at the beginning of this journey with him, and in particular those who are not here now. His encouragement to current students is to keep at it. There'll be some times where you just want to throw it all in, he says, but don't. And his final piece of advice, very, very wise: when life throws you lemons, make sure you have tequila.
It is always a very special occasion when we have someone who has graduated with the highest possible degree, with a doctorate. And today we are very happy to invite forward to the stage Dr. Maatusi Vauiva. This week, Dr. Vauiva has graduated with a Doctor of Philosophy in Sociology. And I would like to acknowledge two of his supervisors who are here, Dr. Paul Perry and Dr. Helen Leslie, who have just had leis put on them. We acknowledge you and thank you for being here for this occasion as well. Also known as Mac, Dr. Vauiva came to New Zealand from Samoa to continue his education as a young man. He hails from the villages of Whaatoia, Eva, and Manawatu, Whalealili. Mac attended Henderson High School in West Auckland and studied at Auckland University, where he completed a master's degree in anthropology. Dr. Vauiva completed an MBA, a Master's in Business Administration, and he had been a business operator for more than 20 years in sports, personal training, and business consultancy. Previously, he has been a business lecturer at AUT University for 9 years, and he is currently operating his own consultancy businesses. His teaching and experience of issues relating to ethnic and Pacific entrepreneurship and academia provided this motivation for Dr. Vauiva to embark on the PhD study, and hence the topic of factors affecting the successful operation of Samoan businesses in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Dr. Vauiva acknowledges the support of his family and friends who have contributed and supported him in his journey. Just remain there, please, and I'd like to invite forward distinguished Professor Paul Spoonley to read out something of Dr. Vauiva's study.
What am I reading? Oh, okay. Mac's thesis title is Lupe Fa'alele, is that right? Releasing the Doves, Factors Affecting the Successful Operation of Samoan Businesses in New Zealand. Not all Samoan businesses and entrepreneurs are the same, nor do they produce the same levels of success in New Zealand. Mr. Va'aiva investigated a number of Samoan businesses and found that they are most successful when developing strategies from a mixed embedded approach that accommodates the obligations of family, religion, community, and the regulatory responsibilities of the New Zealand business environment. Congratulations, Dr. Va'aiva.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are our graduates for 2019. We'd also like to acknowledge many of our Pasifika graduates who are unable to join us in our celebration today and wish them all the very best in their future endeavours. Thank you to Dr. Natasha Tassel Matamua and Dr. Tracy Mafuleo for doing a marvellous job in sharing our graduates' journeys with us. And thank you also to Professor Spoonley and Associate Professor Riley for presenting the certificates and gifts. I'd now like to invite the Director of Student Services, Deanna Riak, and also representatives from the Fofoanga Group to present the Pasifika Community Awards for 2019, please. Pasifika Community Awards recognise individual Pasifika students of Tongan ethnicity who have displayed a strong commitment to Pasifika students and community. This includes participation in events and activities hosted by the Pasifika staff at Massey University or voluntary work undertaken within the Massey and Pasifika community. This year, the 3 awards are again proudly sponsored by Tongan Community Group Fofoanga or Aotearoa Incorporated. In 2019, the recipients are Kemi Lynn Vaikoso, Kemi has been an exceptional leader for Pasifika students at Massey. For the past 2 years, she has been a mentor under the Manawatu program and a student leader. She is also the team leader of the Tongan students that won the Amatakiloa Championship in 2019. Kemi Vaikoso. Our next recipient is Patsy Vunipola. Patsy receives this award for her immense contribution to the Pasifika student community. For the Massey University Pacific Students Association, she's a Pasifika mentor and student leader. This is Patsy's final semester where she will complete a Bachelor of Aviation. Patsy Vunipola. And our third and final recipient is Amelia Leamaivaka. Amelia receives this for her fine contribution as a mentor in service to the Tongan Student Association and also to her own community. Thank you, Diana, and to the representatives of Fofoanga community. And again, congratulations to our recipients of the Pasifika Community Awards. We acknowledge the generous contribution by the Fofoanga Group, and this is that has kindly sponsored these awards for the past 4 years, and look forward to their continuing partnership, or for our continuing partnership in the future. I will now invite Kami Vaikoso, student leader and mentor, to share with us the vote of thanks on behalf of the graduates. We are honoured to have Kami, who has been an inspirational leader for our students here at Massey. Kami.
Thanks, Jamie. Tapa mai whio ai o toa I ho taulotolotonga. Whakatapa atu kia ha ho eki. Whakatapa atu kia ha mata pule, kai tehe kia ha taki lotu. Tapa atu kia ha atau kei o malai o ako. Pe o atu e whakatapa makehe ki hoku kaunga tana ki tuunga. Pe maka tuunga ai aho maalali koini. Ka ikai ki ngalo foki ai ngahi mātua. Moi mā heni o taulo nuku I he whakatahani. Kai ata, moi ta iloa ko kita, ke whakamonu ai ko loa ko tō moku. Maloelelei, talofa lava, pulavinaka, whakalofa lahi atu. Kia orana, whakatalofa atu, maloni, Māori, and more Pacific greetings to you all. My name is Kami Vaikoso. I come from Hāteiho. I come from Hoi. I come from Tongleleka, Nukunuku, Mo'unga Eweiki, Tongatapu. And I'm so honored to be given this privilege of offering the vote of thanks on behalf of the Massey University Pasifika students, class of 2019. First and foremost, I praise and glorify our Heavenly Father, for without him, none of this would be possible. Through his love and mercy, we were able to endure hardship, celebrate the good times, survive our academic journeys, and give him back all the glory. I'd like to acknowledge our distinguished guests, Reverend David Talangi, Honourable Ian Lees-Galloway, Deputy Mayor Tangi Utukere, distinguished Professor Paul Spoonley, who I also just want to fangirl a little bit. Paul Spoonley, I cite you in my assignments. Thank you for the work you do within the Pasifika community. And I totally agree, as a training teacher, I think it's important that we think about the way that we engage with Pasifika people here in New Zealand and all over the world. So thanks, Paul Spoonley. Associate Professor Tracy Riley, members of the Council, Director of Student Services Diane Riak, Massey academic and professional staff, guest speaker Dr. Palatasa Havea, members of the Fofoanga group, staff from our different schools, students, and finally our wonderful family and friends. Thank you for your presence here today. I know I can speak on behalf of my fellow graduates that it means the world to see you all here, to celebrate with us, because it isn't just our own success, it's yours too. So today, basically, we're all graduates. When Sunny asked me to give the vote of thanks, I said, "Are you sure, Sunny? Out of all the deserving, experienced, highly achieved students, you asked me to do it." Because as I look at our graduates today, I'm just a small cub compared to the lions and lionesses who put all our island nations on the map. And so I feel I should be sitting down there amongst our graduates, not standing here on the stage. But God is good, and I want to thank you, Sunny, for believing in me to do this and giving me the opportunity. I truly am very humbled. So I thought, what am I going to say? What inspiration am I going to offer? And nothing came to mind. So then I thought, all I can do is just share my experiences with the hope of inspiring our graduates, as well as current and future students of Massey. My university journey began in 2010. I enrolled into Teachers College and I didn't get in. This was the first of many knockdowns I experienced. I went home and I asked my mum if I could take a break because All Pasifika students know you need to ask your parents for permission for literally everything. Everything. I'm 27 and I still need to ask my mum to go out. So I asked, Mum, please, can I just take a break? I just want to work. And like all Tongan mums, she told me off, which I'm grateful for, because had she not given me this telling off, I would not be standing where I am today. So I enrolled in the uni prep course and I passed. And then, because I enjoyed English at high school, I enrolled in a BA, majoring in English, hoping to become an English teacher. What an eye-opener this was. I was the only brown girl sitting in lecture rooms full of Balangi students, learning about Shakespeare and writing poetry. As you can imagine, I didn't do too well and ended up taking 2 years off in which I worked and traveled. Of course, my parents weren't happy about this, but they accepted it and we moved on. What I am thankful for was that they never gave up on the dream of me graduating from university. My mum pushed me to go back, and so I did, this time majoring in education. In my time as an education major at Massey, I worked as an RA, I was an exec member of MAPSA, and helped to restart the Tongan Students Association. When I look back on my journey, I really did take the long way to get here. But that was my own journey, and something I know God had planned out for me. Because in that time, I achieved so much, and I grew so much as a person. I learned not to give up, I learned to keep pushing, especially during the hard times, and I learned to trust the process. So graduates, woohoo, we finally made it. Congratulations, graduates. This isn't the end of our road. May we continue to be thirsty for knowledge. May we continue to keep learning. May we continue to give back to our families, and to be of service to our island nations. To current and future students, don't give up the fight. You get knocked down, get straight back up and keep going. Because even if you experience failure, it's all part of the journey. It's not failure, rather it's a learning opportunity. For you to get better, for you to go up, for you to succeed, and be standing where I am today. Please always remember God in everything you do. Don't stop praying. Give thanks to Him always, because without Him we are nothing. With Him we are everything. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and future." I'd like to wish all our families and friends who traveled from afar a safe trip home. Also, a quick shout out to my tokos, Gloria and Patsy, who didn't think that I was going to do a shout out. Shout out to you too. Once again, graduates, congratulations, and thank you so much to you all for being here today. Malo pito tu'afatu.
Thank you, Kemi, for your motivational, insightful words. May I take this time to thank you for your contributions as a leader for our students. We wish you all the very best in your future endeavours. Thank you for your love, your passion, your commitment to Pasifika success. Malo aupito. We now have a performance from the Palmerston North Girls High Cultural Group, where they will be doing a dance for Tui He La.
siale, se oka kakale. Pa inga ia siale, se oka kakale.
Just like to thank the Palmerston North Girls High Cultural Group for your contribution to the colour and vibrancy of our occasion today. I'd now like to invite all of the graduates to please come up to the front, please. Ladies and gentlemen, while they're coming forward, let's acknowledge the success of our graduates by giving them a round of applause. Can I now ask all the families, friends and members in the community to rise and show our acknowledgement to Massey University and staff for their dedication and commitment to our graduates, students and Pasifika communities. I was going to say, ladies and gentlemen, we would now like to invite you to celebrate with them with their successes by joining in a dance. But I've just seen our sound person disappear, so there they are. They're there, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, your opportunity to have some exercise and to celebrate our graduates. Here we go.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Mali
I'll just get the students to remain just on the stage for a quick photo, if possible, please. Our final address for the ceremony will be given by the Director of Pasifika at Massey, Associate Professor Malakai Koloamatangi. Malakai has published in the area of democratization, particularly in developing regions in the Pacific, as well as publishing and presenting in Pasifika Pacific Education. He has facilitated leadership workshops, most notably for the Ministry of Health. He chairs working committees for the United Church of Tonga, and he is also a life member of the Church's Trust Board. He is president of the Fofoanga Incorporated Society, an international NGO that is dedicated to the betterment of Pacific lives through the maintenance of culture. Without further ado, Dr. Koloamatangi.
Kore ke u whanga be tau whakatapu ko kamata ke tau lotu mo tau katoanga ki ahoni a tā ka tāke whakato e whatongia ku om ka te au pe tā lahi whatongia o monu ho koloa. I always seem to be either following excitement or preventing people from getting to their food. So I'm not sure whether AJ, this is your doing or not. I'm not sure, but I always seem to be in that kind of a position, between a rock and a hard place, I suppose. But in the best traditions of Pasifika events, we never keep to the time, of course. Otherwise, it'll be un-Pacific, right? And today is no exception. It's not because we want to break the rules. It's because we are having fun, and we want to acknowledge, and we want to say thank you, and show our appreciation to all those people who are important to the event and also to our lives. So let me just take a few moments to do that, just to thank everyone. Reverend David Talangi, of course, is not Reverend Tawake Manu. When it became apparent that Reverend Manu wasn't coming, I saw Reverend Langi coming through the door, and I said to him, God has sent you to step into the breach, and you have done that very well. Reverend David Langi is the head minister of the Wesleyan Church of Tonga here in Palmerston North, so he's very well qualified to officiate. In fact, I was going to ask him to sing. He's an accomplished singer, so maybe for the last prayer you might want to sing something. But thank you for starting off on the right note, right foot, and we wish you well for the future. I want to thank the members of the senior leadership team, particularly those obviously who are here. It's very important that our communities see the leadership and the support that is shown from the very highest echelons of the university. I want, in that regard, to thank distinguished Professor Paul Spoonley. Professor Spoonley said that this will be his last event, and I think it's very fitting that he's somewhat gone the full circle and come back to where he started off in 1974, is that right? And I remember Professor Spoonley from my own porphyry when I first came to Massey. He was the most senior person there to welcome me, and I still remember what I said. I said to him, this was 2013, that I had read a lot of his work and had the utmost respect for him as a scholar and a gentleman. And I think it's interesting that he's here, or he was here to give his last speech, and I'm here to acknowledge his contribution not only to Pasifika, but of course also to scholarship. Professor Spoonley, of course, is not going anywhere, I don't think. He's just stepping aside, I think, and getting back to what he probably loved the most, which is research and so on and so forth. So, Paul, can I say on behalf of the Pasifika community at Massey that we have valued your scholarship, we have valued your friendship. You've always been a champion for Pasifika, and you are irreplaceable in that sense. Can I ask you to put your hands together for Professor Spoonley, please? In fact, Paul, I was going to say that I too remember Reverend Seal very well. Having grown up in the inner suburbs of Auckland, Reverend Seal was a giant, and we didn't mind he was Samoan, of course, and so on. But so I remember him, and so your words made me recall the person that he was and his memory. Can I also thank the university staff? Diana Riak, you're always here, either here, Wellington, or Albany, and we want to thank you very much for your attendance and your support for our students. Associate Professor Tracy Riley, academic research dean, you have helped our students probably in the background. You probably don't know the work that Professor Riley does in terms of our postgraduate students, and I'm not going to mention names. You and I know who the people we're talking about, and so we want to thank you. Academic Dean, Damien Lodge, thank you very much for coming along. I know you had to make your way from the Māori event, and it's good to see you here. I think this is probably your first Pasifika, and the first of many, I hope. Can I also thank the Associate Deans? I know the Associate Dean Māori and also, of course, Pasifika. Dr. Aina Winiata, it's important that we keep our partnership with Māori. We've been holding on to the coattails of Māori for a very long time, and we're not going to let you go that easily. So thank you for coming. Can I just also acknowledge our most senior Pasifika lecturer, who is Professor Rukumani Gaunda, who is here, and also Dr. Lesieli Tongatio and Dr. Lesieli McIntyre, and the rest of our Pasifika colleagues. Thank you for coming along. and making today the success that it has been. I was going to thank the Honourable Minister, but I think he's gone. Like all politicians, they're very, very busy. But there's one politician here who's not very busy, who is the Deputy Mayor. Thank you very much for remaining behind and gracing our event with your presence. Can I also thank colleagues, lecturers, tutors of our students? It's at that coalface, obviously, that you have made the difference, which has led to our students celebrating their achievements today. If it wasn't for you, I'm sure we would have struggled, or our students would have struggled. Whawhetai e maukoloa to our guest speaker, Dr. Palatasa Havea, who is a role model for our community. His learning and scholarship and the values that he lived by are all very, very important to us. And he's a very accomplished speaker, of course, and an even better researcher. And he works tirelessly for us. And thank you very much for your words of encouragement for our students. To the performers, I think it's fair to say that dance, music, and so on are integral parts of our culture. And without them, we would be impoverished. So thank you very much. In fact, the last dance that was performed by the Palmerston North Girls High School, I think, the title of it is called Bird of Paradise. That was composed by the late Queen Charlotte of Tonga. I think it's fitting that all our graduates, you are all birds of paradise. And so don't take the negative things, just look for the positive stuff that we heap upon you. Can I thank Kaime Veikoso for her words? It always not surprises me, but it always encourages me to hear of our young people praising God and thanking others and not themselves. And that is obviously a very Pacific thing to do. I'm not sure whether you do it because you're afraid of your parents or whether you are sincere in your appreciation. But Kaime, thank you very much for your words of inspiration. To the community award sponsors, the Fofoanga Club has provided these awards since 2014. And the money that they have given is immense to our students. In fact, the idea was I'd asked them initially to lay down the funding as a kind of a challenge to other Pacific communities. So 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, nothing happened. So I said to them, this year, why don't you just sponsor Tongan students and see what the others would do? I'm hoping that 2020, all the other ethnic communities will come on board and support our students. You know, we don't have money, obviously, we are poor, but I'm reminded of the times when we had to give money to the church. And the amount of money that the church takes from us, I'm sure they'll be able to let go some of that to help our poor students to achieve what they've achieved, like today. So that's the point. But thank you to the Fofoanga Club for doing that. But most importantly of all, of course, is well done to our students and our graduates. I tend to think, and I'm probably being criticized for this, but I tend to think that because we are children of the migration, that we have it in us, genetically speaking, that the journey that we took from North Asia down to Melanesia and then eastward towards Polynesia and of course up northwards to Micronesia, instilled in Pacific generations a sense of survival, a sense of community. Obviously, if you're living in the canoe, it's very difficult to be individualistic, right? It's a small space, you gotta share it with others, you gotta share the food, you gotta share the company and so on and so forth. So I tend to think that this idea around the ainga and the kainga and so forth are ingrained in us because of the migration, because of the migratory habits that I think we're still traversing at the moment. Look at where we are. We're in Europe, we're in the States, we're everywhere. And of course, it means intellectually that our journey has not ended, but it has allowed us to progress from one place to another. So I think the va here, the relationships, are very, very important, as everyone today has said, and I think that's an important thing to keep in mind. In terms of, I didn't want to do this, but can I single out one person here? And this is my mate, Mac, who's got the PhD. I remember when I first came to this university, or maybe after, a couple of years after, Mac used to come to our writing retreats that we funded. And, and I always talk with Mac, and, him being a fit sort of a, physical person, I'm always a bit afraid to sort of, to get on the wrong side of Mac. So I always say to Mac, how long you got to go? He goes, brother, we're nearly there. Okay, the next time we meet, Mac, how long you got to go? Brother, I'm nearly there. So it got to the stage where I didn't want to ask him anymore because I think he was avoiding me and avoiding answering the question. But Mac, we are very, very happy for you today. And I think, in terms of the value that you've added to the PhD cohort here, and you are a shining example of hard work and never say die attitude. And I know your family and your community are all very happy, as we are. And we look forward to greater things from you in the future. So congratulations again. But as everyone has said, today not only belongs to our graduates, but also belongs to their families, to their communities, to their ainga, and everyone here. So you've been acknowledged already, but I just want to echo the acknowledgement that you've been given. And I hope you all enjoy a good night. Can I just thank two more people? One is Sunlo Liu Vae. Can you give him a hand, please? Whakawe lahi to Sunny. What I can say about Sunny is that he thinks Palmerston North is the best campus. And I always try to say, look, there are two other campuses that we have to worry about. No. All the funding should go to Palmerston North and blah, blah, blah. So if there is anyone who's an absolute champion for you for Palmerston North, it is Mr. Liu Vae. And you are very lucky to have him. And you all heard from the students. You heard from the students how wonderful Sunny has been in their journeys. And so thank you, Sunny Whawelahi. The last person, of course, is our Master of Ceremony, Andrew Jameson. AJ went to Samoa last year and taught at Samoa College? Okay. And I thought we'd lost him. I mean, who would want to come back from Samoa, from the warm climate and the sandy beaches and so forth? But we have him here, and so he's done a wonderful job, and I look forward to him doing this again next year. Although I must acknowledge also our past MC, who is Dr. Tracy Mafileo. She did a very good job. I'm sure you and AJ can sort of share in the future. But apart from that, I want to thank you all for coming, and I hope you enjoy the food that's in front of you, and I hope that today and tonight has been an enjoyable evening, will be an enjoyable evening for you, as it has been for us in providing it for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kolomatangi. I'd like to invite at this point Dr. Javier up onto the stage. And Dr. Kolomatangi would like to present you with this gift of appreciation and thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, students and anyone here who has not had the privilege of studying at Massey University, I hope you are inspired by the efforts and the wonderful milestones that our graduates have achieved. For those of you who are yet to graduate, may you be further motivated and inspired to do your best. We have now come to the end of the formal part of the ceremony. On behalf of the Pasifika Directorate, Provost Professor Giselle Burns, and Massey University, we would like to extend our sincere thanks to you all for attending the Pasifika ceremony to honour our Pasifika students, graduates of 2019. Thank you for making the time to join us in celebrating our graduates. For those travelling in particular graduates, families and friends who are returning to your respective countries and hometowns, safe journeys. We make special acknowledgements of the following people and organisations: Malakai Kolomatangi and the Pasifika Directorate, Pasifika staff, Massey staff, and various organisations represented. We also thank Crossroads Church for allowing us to use this beautiful venue. The Puka Puka Cook Island drummers, and Julia and the members of the JTW Church for providing the catering. We also acknowledge the Massey University Pasifika Students Association, the President and her team for all their assistance in making today's event a special one for our graduates. Last but not least, thank you to everyone here again, and also to our community who have come to support our graduates. Their success, a very important event for Massey, where success is the norm and achievement is celebrated. We will now close this ceremony with a prayer conducted by one of the members of the Fofoanga, who will also bless the food. Please.
Ki tau lotu. Let us pray. Our Lord God, we thank you for everything that we've been witnessing today. We thank you for the University of Massey, providing our Pasifika students with your knowledge and your wisdom. We thank you for the faculty members. We thank you for everything. Tuang mau whamalo atu. Mau mamata i kolori ai awhiana. Ngahi whatongia kotoa pe, mau mamata kia hea hon. Whainasi ake mau whanau ai poto pe mo ilo. Kau whai ako ai mawhai. Malakai kai umagi nau tolu kotoa pe. Kua potongi ai whatongi ai ahon. Mau whawheta i ia, mau whawhoki a te langi ki a whian. Eki hoko atu. Ai ngahi whatongi ani. Mau ilo ai ai lahi o e a whiana. Tāpak mai ai kau whai ako. Tāpak mai ai university, tāpak mai ai ngahi whamiri, mo ngahi maheni kotoa pe, o mau kau whakataha hea honi. O momoi atu ki mau tolu kotoa pe ki hea whian, whataapa mo e mea to koni ku teo, whai ake ai whakalangi hea honi. O kore kātoa ai ngahi tāpakini. Kere sibe ai ki ko Sisu Christ, o whae o tuake tau tamai, o tau whioi tō mau pe me lau maari e maani oni, ke ia te tau tolu kotoa pe ia. O whai peke tai ngata, pe tai ngata. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the formal part of our celebration. You're invited to please stay back and join us, continue with the celebrations with some kai. On the sounds of the drums, we will ask our VIPs and graduates to proceed to the rear doors. The rest of us, please remain standing until the procession of graduates and staff are outside of the auditorium. Whaftai tele lava, manguia le afi afi, soifua.